Hi, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a follow-up on the video I did last week, which was what is a tradwife, and I basically gave the definition from Wikipedia, and I had planned on elaborating on a couple of points that I had made, and then realized afterwards that there's a couple of points I actually didn't make. And then I realized, actually as well, that um, I sat back a little bit on it, and I had been watching some of the other commenting channels. I watched a lot of the Daily Wire ones, especially because they brought it up that Michael Knowles did, and Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh, of course, obviously brought it up because they always do at the same time. And so they did it, and a couple of other commenters did it, and some others brought it up and just slid the word in and talked about it for about no more than a second, and it they just did. So I realized, of course, this is a social concept, right? It's a TikTok thing, it's a Twitter thing, it's a YouTube thing, and somebody labeled it, and somebody needed, like I said, they needed a label, so they gave it a label and called it a trad wife. And then so I jokingly had actually said, so is there a trad husband? Is there a trad spouse? And the reality is, it's true. There actually is a Wikipedia definition of a trad husband as well, which it was, I didn't realize there actually was the full Wikipedia definition sitting right there. And when I did it, and it actually does say, trad husband expects his wife, his trad wife, to stay home, take care of the family, cook, clean, and make it a home rather than just a place to live. And when both the man and the woman are working, sharing expenses and household chores, those are non-traditional roles for both the husband and wife. Well, okay, that makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, so that's actually what I was trying to say, and I didn't realize that definition actually was sitting there all along. So that's, I'm willing to say, hey, actually, it wasn't something I was just bringing up. It really is there. So that's good. But then I realized another point that I started to make was about my being Jewish and how I don't qualify because I'm Jewish. Um, I don't know if that's really what you consider to be a good thing or not. To be really honest, I mean, I'm sure there are some women that this sounds like a really good thing. I'm sitting at home, my husband's out working, making the income, and I'm taking care of the home. But I did do a little bit more sitting back and thought about it afterward that it's a point that I started to make. I don't qualify because I'm Jewish. The definition says it is a Christian uh, um, idea, it's a Christian value. And the reality was, I actually felt that I could compare myself with, I do all of these things and I work. And that was the nail on the head right there. I don't know one, I don't know one Jewish woman that has a household with her spouse, whether he's Christian or not, I don't know, and could be. But if it is a household that is a Jewish household, even still, I don't know one Jewish woman that doesn't work either outside of the home, works from home, or has their own business, has a high-powered job, perhaps, maybe a lawyer, a doctor kind of thing, writer of some kind. And that was the actual thing I came down to. That very thing was the fact that I do not know a Jewish woman out there that would actually qualify as a trad wife at all anyway. So, okay, it's not a Jewish thing. So I guess that's what it is. What can I say? That, you know, it's, um, I don't know. It's really, I mean, hey, there could be somebody who can clap back at me and say, oh, I'm a Jewish woman and I consider myself to be a trad wife. And that's possible too. And all the Christian people are going to clap back at me and go, what do you know about it? And I go, well, I have a household that is actually Christian and Jewish. So I can actually say that even in my own home, and even any situation I've been in, I've always worked. I've had either on the plan of getting in, starting a business, had side ventures, and done all these things. So Yeah, that's but like I said, other people that I know, other families that I know, other family members of myself and other friends. I don't know one of them that doesn't have some kind of income, even if they're a crafty person and they're doing a craft of some kind and selling their craft. So that's still considered bringing in an income, as far as I can see. But I'm sure there's somebody who's going to clap back at me and say that's not true, whatever. But that's fine, whatever. Um, I've always kind of looked at the both sides of the issue, and I can honestly say that that's actually very true on my end, because even with when I was going through my final year in college, I had a course that I had to do a stand-up presentation, and one of the choices that was sort of left as the option was wife battery was the topic. And you had to give a story on wife battery and all the explanations about it and everything. And I went up to my teacher and I basically said, now I was already with my former husband at the time, and he had gone through a very abusive relationship with his former ex-wife before me. So I was very aware of husband battery, and I went up to my instructor and I basically said, I really can't do this just as wife battery. Um, I would like to be able to do either husband battery or do family violence. And at the time, we also were involved in another group called the Eastern Alliance, which was actually all about family against family violence. And so we were very heavily involved in it and everything. So I probably was very heavily influenced by it. I won't tell you I wasn't, but I honestly went up to my instructor and just said, basically, I just can't do it just as wife battery. And she basically said to me, if you can show me that it really is a real thing of husband battery, I will let you do the topic as family violence. And so I showed her all of my stuff that I had. I had evidence. I had um, a tape with all the information of actually an occurrence that had happened. I basically had some paperwork and everything that showed it. I also had all the pamphlets from the program that we were involved in. And she said, okay, go ahead, do it as family violence. And I stood up in my class, and I was not a very good public speaker at the time. I don't know if I am even now, but I did the whole presentation, and I actually had played the tape of the incident that had happened, and that to show what had happened, and I finished it all up and everything. Well, more better than I had ever expected it to go, actually. Um, and something she did not normally do, but at the very end, we all were leaving the class, and she called me aside and she said, "Yeah, you had an A plus on this." So, um, like I said, it's not something that I just look at. Hey, it's all men, it's all women, it's whatever. Uh, I don't know if that really helps this whole story along to really push it along for how I feel about it. Um, But I don't know. Traditions are traditions. You make up traditions as you go along, and so I'm going to come back to that part of this as well. That it's just calling it a trad wife. Well, um, and it's all 50s traditional and wanting to do things that are making things from scratch, and just all the like you're almost being like a farm wife or something, and back in the 1800s or something, you know, husbands and wives work together, and my husband and I now know that better than anybody I know, because we actually do work together because we're superintendents of the building we live in. Um, so to say that, um, you know, I don't know who's the breadwinner because we both work. Um, and we both take care of our household and we both do everything. So, um, That's my experience now. But yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to revisit that topic and that part of it, and you learned a little more about me and what I did and what I did in the past, and where I stand on it. So, I mean, sure, if I could, you know, stay at home and not do not work would be, and everything would be taken care of. I guess that would be interesting. I don't know how that would all go. Um, Even in times when I wasn't working, I was always working on what was the next, where I was going to, either the job I was going to do, starting a new business, starting a new side venture. It's just always been there. So um, I probably could never compare myself to being with Tradwife because it's just, I don't know how to do that. It would just be, I'd be taking care of all my household. I'd be cooking, cleaning, uh, taking care of everything, finances, and doing everything in the household. And none of that seems like I would not do that. So anyway, I guess I'm rambling on here, but yeah, I just want to do that follow up and bring that up. And if if you have a comment on what I've said in that video or this one, put it in the comments below, and give me a like and a subscribe, hopefully. And I will see you guys on the next one.